Chapter 1, The Universe's Mirror. You begin tonight with your body resting, your breath slow and soft, your thoughts like ripples settling on a dark, still lake. Somewhere beyond your closed eyes, beyond your walls, beyond the earth itself, the universe stretches vast and silent. Galaxies drift like lanterns through ink. Planets spin unseen. And through it all moves something stranger than light or shadow, something not fully here, and not fully gone. You've been told that everything in the universe has its place, stars burn, stones fall, rivers flow downward. But what if every piece of matter, every atom in your bones, every grain of dust beneath your bed, had a hidden twin? Not a twin you can hold or see, but a reflection, inverted and strange. Not made of ordinary substance, but of something opposite. This is where your journey begins, with the idea that the universe itself keeps a mirror in its pocket. Not a mirror of glass, but a mirror made of laws and balance, of opposites tied together by the quiet threads of physics. This mirror is called antimatter. Imagine it softly now. Picture an ordinary particle, let's say an electron, spinning like a tiny dancer, carrying its negative charge like a secret tucked beneath its wing. Antimatter offers a twin to this electron, the positron. Same mass, same dance, but its charge flipped, like a coin turned over in an unseen hand. For every particle, a mirror particle. For every step forward, a step reflected back. This is the symmetry nature loves, or perhaps, the symmetry it cannot escape. As you breathe slowly, you float through this thought: why would the universe bother to create such mirrors? Why spin out shadows of particles that barely brush against the ordinary world before vanishing again? Scientists call this question one of the great mysteries, and mysteries, after all, are gentle things to carry at bedtime. Somewhere deep in the fabric of space, these mirrored particles flicker into existence. Not in great clusters like stars, but as brief visitors, appearing and vanishing like bubbles in still water. They are born in cosmic rays striking the edge of Earth's atmosphere. They arise in the hush of particle colliders, places where matter is pushed to dance faster than it was ever meant to move. And when matter meets antimatter, when a particle shakes hands with its opposite, they do not fight, and they do not merge. They vanish together, leaving behind nothing but energy. A flash, a ripple, a release. In this way, opposites unmake each other with a quietness that belies their power. You wonder now, gently, as your breath deepens, why isn't the universe simply filled with light from all these vanished pairs? If matter and antimatter were created equally, where did all the antimatter go? Why are you here, made of matter, sleeping on a planet of matter? In a galaxy that seems, at least to your senses, almost entirely one-sided? These are the soft riddles of existence. Perhaps once, long ago, there was a balance, matter and antimatter paired in perfect symmetry. But something tipped the scale. A tiny asymmetry, almost invisible, allowed matter to survive. Allowed planets and stars and bodies like yours to take shape. Allowed the world you know to become real. Yet antimatter did not vanish completely. It lingers in the spaces between things, in the rare corners of the cosmos, in the careful experiments of patient physicists. It whispers through equations and through the hum of machines built to glimpse the invisible. You imagine now the mirror, not broken, but tucked quietly behind the world you know. Every time you lift your hand, somewhere its opposite might lift too, unseen. Every time a particle moves within you, its shadow opposite may flicker briefly, then fade. There's something peaceful in this symmetry. Something restful in knowing that the universe holds both sides of the coin, both the yes and the no, the being and the unbeing. That balance exists even in opposites. You let your mind float deeper now, weightless and slow, imagining particles as dancers, circling one another through the void. Some meet, some part, some disappear in bright silences. The universe hums with this quiet choreography. Nothing wasted. Nothing extra. Only the slow unfolding of patterns too vast to rush. The antimatter in these stories is not evil, not dangerous by nature. It is simply the other side, the echo, the balance, the reflection that makes matter itself possible. Without its silent presence, there could be no questions like these to ponder beneath your blanket, no atoms to form your heart or your hands, no light by which to read these words. Tonight you rest knowing that opposites make the world whole. That your body is matter, but somewhere, softly, antimatter watches. Not to undo you, but to remind you, existence itself is a kind of conversation. A dialogue between things seen and unseen, between the known and the almost known. Your breath slows further now. You drift not toward answers, but toward wonder. Toward the soft places where curiosity and calm become the same thing. And as you float in this thought, your mind touches gently on what comes next. If opposites meet and vanish, what happens when they meet in vastness? In motion? In light? Tomorrow, you'll travel to the heart of that question. You'll drift into the space where opposites collide, and leave behind not destruction, but energy itself. Chapter 2, Where Opposites Meet. You begin again in stillness. Your body resting, your breath steady, your thoughts like slow clouds crossing an endless sky. Last night, you learned there is a mirror side to matter, a hidden twin stitched into the fabric of reality. Antimatter. Tonight, you move a little closer to understanding how these opposites meet, and what is born from their meeting. Picture two particles now. Not large, not loud, but so small they slip between the atoms of your body without touching. One is made of ordinary matter. The other, its shadow, made of antimatter. They have been traveling toward each other not for minutes or hours, but perhaps across the quiet distance of years. Across the space where time feels slow, and motion feels like thought. When they meet, there is no battle. There is no violence in their union. There is only transformation. Matter and antimatter are like notes from opposite ends of a scale, meeting at last to create something new. Not music, but light. Not destruction, but energy released into the calm fabric of space. Physicists call this annihilation. But you, lying here beneath the hush of night, might call it something softer, completion. The end of a journey. The fulfillment of a design written long before either particle began its quiet flight. What happens when matter and antimatter meet is not a collision in the way two stones might clash. It is more like two halves of a thought finally spoken aloud. They cancel, yes. But in canceling, they reveal something hidden, pure energy, unfolding outward in soft, radiant waves. Imagine now the spaces where this happens, not in theory, but in reality. High above you, in the thin breathless atmosphere at the edge of space, cosmic rays arrive from distant places. They strike particles in the air, and for the briefest flicker, antimatter is born. Positrons, antiprotons, tiny travelers with nowhere to rest. They move, they search, and when they find their matter twins, they vanish together in a quiet release of energy. Not chaos. Not war. just light. This happens again and again, unseen, unheralded. Tiny fireworks of existence and unexistence, lighting up the fabric of the cosmos in places no eye can see. A rhythm older than planets, older than the stars themselves. And here, gently, your thoughts stretch toward the past. Toward the moment after the universe began, when all was energy, pure and vast and restless. From this sea of energy, particles were born. And with them, their twins. Matter and antimatter, paired like dancers moving through the newborn dark. They met, and they vanished together, leaving behind waves of light, ripples of energy that shaped the early universe like hands smoothing fabric. Yet, somehow, impossibly, a tiny fraction of matter remained. Just enough to form clouds of gas. Just enough to become stars, planets, oceans, bodies. Just enough to become you. Why this happened, why matter won by a hair's breadth, remains one of the soft puzzles science rocks gently in its palm. The asymmetry is delicate, like the thinnest thread keeping a world from unraveling. And still, the dance continues. Not everywhere, not always. But enough to remind us that opposites do not only oppose. They seek one another. They complete a circuit written into the heart of physics itself. You let this idea settle inside you like warmth. Opposites meet, not to fight, but to balance. To remind the universe of its rules. Energy cannot vanish, cannot be unmade. It only changes form, passing from particle to light, from light to wave, from wave to silence. This is why antimatter matters. Not for its rarity, not for its mystery alone, but for what it reveals, that even the strangest halves of existence fit together in a pattern beyond chance. That what seems opposite is, in truth, part of a whole you are only beginning to glimpse. Imagine now the future, soft and distant on the horizon of thought. Scientists dream of harnessing this quiet meeting of opposites, of turning matter and antimatter into engines of light. Starships, powered not by fire but by the delicate dance of particles dissolving into energy. Journeys carried forward by annihilation so small, so precise, it feels more like poetry than fuel. You let this thought drift through you as you rest. Not everything needs to happen now. Some answers wait. Some technologies sleep in equations yet to be solved. The universe does not hurry, and neither must you. Tonight, it is enough to know that opposites meet. That in meeting, they vanish. That in vanishing, they give birth to light. Your breath deepens. Your heartbeat slows. You float on the surface of this understanding like a leaf on water. Behind every spark, behind every light you see, there may be two halves coming together, completing a story that began long before you, and will continue long after. And as you hover on the edge of sleep, you wonder softly. If light is born from opposites meeting, what else might be waiting in the quiet spaces between? Tomorrow, you'll drift toward those spaces. Toward the hidden places where antimatter hides, waiting to be found. Chapter 3, The Hidden Places of Antimatter. You begin this night's journey as you ended the last, slowly, softly, with breath like waves smoothing over sand. Somewhere beyond the reach of your window, the sky stretches wide and quiet, stitched with stars that seem fixed in place. But beyond those steady lights, in the dark between them, something quieter still moves. Antimatter does not announce itself. It does not blaze across the sky or leave footprints in its wake. It hides. It lingers in places you cannot see, in pockets of space where silence folds itself into something close to waiting. Tonight, you follow the idea of these hidden places. Imagine the vastness of space, not as empty, but as filled with invisible currents. Among those unseen rivers drift particles of antimatter, rare as whispers, delicate as dust motes caught in light. Some were born in the earliest seconds of the universe, remnants of a time when everything was brighter, louder, newer. Some appear briefly, summoned by cosmic rays colliding with the thin breath of atmosphere around distant planets. In these lonely spaces, antimatter survives. Not much of it. Not enough to build worlds or light suns. But enough to remind the universe of its own symmetry, matter's reflection, still present, still possible. Scientists search for these traces the way you might search for patterns in clouds. They build detectors, machines sensitive enough to notice a positron where none should be, to catch the soft signature of an antiproton passing through space. Satellites orbit quietly, instruments tuned to listen for the faint echo of annihilation where antimatter and matter briefly touch. And sometimes, they find it. Not in great rivers, but in droplets. In the faint trail left behind by distant galaxies colliding, or in the quiet wake of a supernova's breath. Tiny clues, scattered across the canvas of the cosmos. Enough to wonder, where does it come from? And why does it remain, tucked away in corners where light itself forgets to look? Some scientists believe there may be whole regions of space, entire galaxies, even, made not of matter as you know it, but of antimatter. Silent, unreachable twins to the glowing spirals you can see with your eyes. If such places exist, they remain hidden by distance and time, their light indistinguishable from ours, their presence a question waiting far beyond the answers we hold now. Closer to home, antimatter appears in smaller, stranger ways. In the heart of thunderstorms, lightning can briefly create positrons, tiny bursts of antimatter born from the clash of electric sky against itself. High above Earth, the Van Allen belts cradle particles of antimatter caught in magnetic loops, circling unseen above your sleeping world. Even your own body holds moments of antimatter. In the slow decay of potassium within you, positrons are born and vanish almost as quickly, seeking electrons with which to end their brief existence. You carry within you the rhythm of opposites meeting, dissolving into light. Not often, not loudly, but enough to remind you that antimatter is not only out there, in the cold dark between stars. It is also here, part of the same dance that shapes breath and heartbeat alike. Still, antimatter remains elusive. It is not something you can touch, or hold, or see without careful instruments and practiced eyes. Its hiding places are chosen by nature, not by design, where energy flares high, where particles move fast, where the boundaries between existence and absence blur for the briefest moment. You might think of antimatter like seeds scattered by a wind long faded. Some land where they cannot grow. Some vanish before they take root. But a few remain, hidden beneath the soil of space, waiting in silence for discovery. Tonight, as you rest beneath your ceiling of stars, you let this idea unfold within you. That not all things need to be visible to be real. That not all presences announce themselves. Some exist in quiet places, shaping the world from shadows, from absences, from the soft suggestion of what might yet be found. Your breath slows. Your thoughts grow softer, more spacious. You drift through these hidden places in your mind. Between particles, between stars, between moments. Antimatter is there, waiting not for you in particular, but for someone, someday, to notice. And you wonder, as sleep draws closer, if antimatter hides in the quiet folds of space. What other truths might rest, unspoken, between the lines of the universe? Tomorrow, you will follow this question further. Into the mystery of why we search, and what we hope to find. Chapter 4, The Dance of Annihilation. You begin tonight with a thought as soft as a feather falling. Not all collisions are accidents. Some are woven into the fabric of nature itself. Some are written into the story long before the particles arrive. Antimatter and matter are destined to meet. That much is certain. Their paths, though invisible to you, trace lines through space and time, pulling them closer like dancers spiraling toward one another across a silent floor. They do not speak. They do not hesitate. They move with a kind of quiet inevitability. And when they touch, the universe holds its breath. You might imagine this meeting as gentle, almost graceful. A positron finds its twin, the electron. They reach for each other, not in anger or violence, but as pieces longing to become whole. In the moment they meet, something curious happens. They vanish. Both are gone, as if erased from the ledger of existence. But nothing truly disappears. From this moment of annihilation, this tender ending, something else is born. Light. Not the harsh glare of bulbs or the sharp flash of lightning, but photons, pure packets of energy. Ripples of light set free to wander the universe. Where matter and antimatter meet, light emerges as the quiet witness. This is not destruction in the way your mind might first imagine. It is more like transformation. Like a match burning away, leaving behind warmth and glow. Two halves of existence meeting, canceling each other's form, and giving birth to something softer, something more enduring, energy. Physicists call this annihilation, but perhaps another word would feel gentler. Union, perhaps. Resolution. A return to simplicity. Two complexities undone, exchanged for a single breath of light traveling outward forever. You carry this dance within you, though you may not notice. In hospitals, machines called PET scanners use positrons to trace the hidden workings of the body. Within these machines, positrons meet electrons in tiny, purposeful collisions. From their vanishing, light springs forth, light that tells stories about your brain, your heart, your cells. Without this small dance of disappearance, doctors would not see what illness hides. Even thunderstorms whisper of annihilation. In the sky's electric drama, positrons born from lightning may meet their match in electrons. Their brief meeting sends photons scattering across the clouds. For a moment, the sky itself becomes a canvas of endings and beginnings, written in particles too small for eyes to see. But it is not only on Earth. Across the cosmos, this dance repeats. In the hearts of galaxies, where energies surge and twist, matter and antimatter meet. They vanish, and in their place, gamma rays stretch across the dark. These ancient dances light up telescopes on distant mountains, reminding astronomers that even destruction has its beauty, even endings leave behind a glow. You might wonder why. Why does the universe build such a fragile symmetry? Why create particles that undo each other so perfectly? The answer is not fully known. It may never be. But within the question lies a kind of peace. Not all things need solving. Some exist simply to be marveled at. Tonight, you hold this thought softly in your chest. That from opposites meeting, something unexpected is born. That endings are not always empty. Sometimes, they shine. As you settle deeper, you can imagine this process like music. Two notes meeting, canceling each other's sound, leaving behind only silence. But within that silence, potential. The space for something new to begin. The rhythm of particles is not unlike the rhythm of life, arrivals, meetings, partings, transformations. In the hush of your room, you think of how often humans fear endings. How often you imagine disappearance as loss. Yet here, in the smallest scales of existence, disappearance creates light. A paradox made gentle by its truth. Your breath moves slowly now. In and out. Like particles drifting toward one another. Like inevitability drawing near. Tomorrow, you will follow this light as it travels. You will trace how these quiet collisions shape not just particles, but galaxies, and how in the glow of annihilation, the universe writes its most enduring stories. For now, let this question rest quietly with you, like a stone beneath still water. If light can be born from endings, what else might you create from letting go? Chapter 5: Why the Universe Prefers Matter. You rest tonight beneath a sky of stars that should not, by rights, exist. Galaxies whirl, planets spin, oceans breathe beneath the moon. And yet, according to the simple, silent mathematics of nature, none of it should be here. In the earliest moments of time, matter and antimatter were born together in equal measure. For every particle of matter, a shadow twin of antimatter appeared. Perfectly balanced, perfectly symmetrical. And so, logic suggests, they should have found each other. They should have met, embraced, and vanished, dissolving back into light, leaving behind a universe of nothing but silence and photons. But that isn't what happened. You are here. The earth spins beneath you, heavy with atoms, rich with oceans. The stars burn far away, ancient fires of hydrogen still crackling. Life stirs, breathes, dreams. Something tipped the balance. Somewhere, in the first seconds after the beginning, a small mistake occurred. For every billion particles of antimatter, there was, mysteriously, inexplicably, just one extra particle of matter. One tiny, stubborn survivor in every billion. It doesn't sound like much. A flaw so small you could almost miss it. But this imbalance changed everything. The antimatter did what it was destined to do, it found its twin in matter, and together they vanished in flashes of light. But those lonely survivors, those leftover particles of matter, had no opposites left to meet. They remained. Enough to build galaxies. Enough to shape the fabric of everything you see, touch, breathe. Enough to write the story of stars and planets and people. Physicists call this imbalance, baryon asymmetry, a term heavy with precision and mystery. But no one knows exactly why it happened. No experiment has fully unraveled the secret of how matter won the universe. It remains one of the soft puzzles at the heart of physics, an unanswered whisper from the dawn of time. Perhaps, you wonder, the universe prefers imperfection. Perhaps perfect symmetry is not the goal of creation. Instead, maybe it is the flaw that allows stories to unfold. Like a missed note in music giving birth to a new melody. Like a single drop of ink transforming a blank page. In this small imbalance, the universe found its way forward. From that narrow thread of leftover matter, atoms clung together. Stars formed. Planets cooled. Life gathered in pools and forests and mines. Your body, your breath, your thoughts, all born from that ancient unevenness. It is strange to think, everything you love, everything you fear, everything you hope for owes itself to a cosmic asymmetry. To a mistake, if you like. Or to a secret choice the universe made, long before you arrived to wonder about it. You might find comfort in this. The idea that perfection is not required for beauty. That imbalance does not mean failure, but possibility. Without it, there would be no stars to wish upon, no earth to walk, no nights like this to drift through, wondering. Your breath slows as you imagine the earliest seconds of time, a chaos of particles, a flash of light, a hush settling as the survivors gathered. The seeds of everything sown in silence. Why did matter win? No one knows. Perhaps the answer lies beyond your reach, hidden in particles not yet discovered, in laws not yet written. Or perhaps the answer is simple: without that imbalance, there would be no one here to ask. And so, you settle deeper into the quiet, letting the question rock you like a tide. Imbalance gave rise to existence. From imperfection, form emerged. And from form, all the countless stories still unfolding in the dark. Tomorrow, you will follow these leftover particles as they gather and grow, as they build the world piece by piece. You will watch as atoms reach for one another, crafting the future from what might easily have been nothing at all. But for now, let this gentle thought carry you forward. From imbalance came creation. From imperfection, the stars. Chapter 6, The Language of Particles. Your body is made of quiet things, each smaller than sight, smaller than thought. Protons, electrons, neutrons, names given long ago by scientists who dreamed of understanding the invisible. But beneath even these, there are smaller whispers, quarks, leptons, particles too fleeting to hold in your hand, yet essential to everything you are. Tonight, you sink into this realm of the very small. Here, nothing speaks in words. Instead, the language is force. Motion. Vibration. Tiny exchanges of energy passing like notes between dancers in a vast, unseen ballroom. You might picture particles as solid points, but they are not so simple. They are ripples in fields, excitations of energy, flickers in the fabric of space itself. Where there is nothing, suddenly, there is something. A particle appears, exists, then fades. Or lingers, if the universe allows. They do not move randomly. Every interaction follows patterns older than time, written into the fabric of the cosmos itself. This is the language of physics, not cold, but intricate, purposeful. Particles attract or repel, spin or pause, exchange tiny bundles of force called bosons, photons for light, gluons for holding quarks together, W and Z bosons for weak decay. Each plays its part in holding reality steady. Imagine your atoms now. Imagine them listening. Their protons are bound tight in nuclei, a harmony of quarks held fast by the strong force. Their electrons hum in quiet shells around them, guided by electromagnetism, never touching but always near. Gravity, softest of all, whispers across distance, shaping the paths of planets and the slow fall of your breath. Even antimatter, even the vanished shadows of particles that once balanced the scales, obeyed these laws in their brief existence. The universe's symmetry is written in this silent speech, though it does not always show itself plainly. As you rest, think of this: every force you know is a kind of conversation. Light travels because photons carry its message. Magnets pull because fields reach out unseen. Your very body stays whole because particles share their energy in an endless, ongoing exchange. The ancients spoke of music in the spheres. Perhaps they sensed, in some way, this hidden orchestra beneath the world's surface. Not music as you hear it, but a rhythm deeper still, the pulse of fields, the dance of charges, the language of particles keeping reality from unraveling. Scientists build great machines to glimpse this dialogue, colliders that smash particles together, teasing out fleeting signs of what lies beneath. They listen through data, through patterns in tracks and traces. Each discovery is a word, a phrase, adding to the quiet story of how the universe holds itself together. Yet you, in your own way, are part of this conversation too. Your body, your breath, your thoughts all depend on these forces speaking true. You are shaped by their grammar, held by their laws, written into the syntax of matter like a poem in motion. There is comfort in this thought. Beneath confusion, beneath fear, beneath even thought itself, there is order. There is structure. There is a language so old, so universal, it binds stars and cells alike. You do not need to understand every word to know you belong within it. And so, you drift tonight on this gentle truth: the universe speaks in particles, in forces, in quiet bonds of energy. These are the words beneath matter, the grammar beneath light. Listen closely enough, and you might hear the silence speaking back. Tomorrow, you will follow these particles as they gather in clouds of hydrogen, as they build the first atoms and light the first stars. But for now, rest in the knowledge that even the smallest things are never alone. Every force connects. Every particle listens. And the conversation goes on. Chapter 7, When Hydrogen Dreams of Stars. The universe, in its earliest days, was quiet and dark. There were no stars, no galaxies, not even the pale shine of a moon to break the silence. Only clouds of hydrogen drifted through the blackness, cool and endless, waiting without knowing they waited. Hydrogen is the simplest atom. One proton. One electron. That is all. Yet within this simplicity lies a quiet hunger, to gather, to pull, to come closer. Gravity is its whispering partner, drawing these lonely atoms into great, unseen gatherings across the void. Imagine yourself floating now in one of these ancient clouds. There is no sound here. No light. Only the slow, patient swirl of hydrogen drifting, drawn together by forces it cannot resist. Atom by atom, the cloud thickens. Its heart grows dense, heavy. Pressure mounts, heat stirs, though no flame yet burns. You feel this build up in your bones, as if the universe itself holds its breath. For what happens next is a kind of alchemy, fusion, where atoms press so tightly together they become something new. Hydrogen becomes helium. In that moment, light is born. Heat. Radiance. A star ignites. The first stars were giants, vast, burning spheres stitched together by gravity's steady hand. They burned hot and bright, living fast lives in the black sea of space. From their cores flowed energy beyond measure, light enough to shatter darkness, warmth enough to shape the future. You might wonder how such power comes from such small beginnings. A single atom holds little. But countless atoms, bound together, pressed close by gravity's slow insistence, this is how suns are born. This is how the universe begins to shine. Your own sun, the star that warms your skin and wakes the flowers, was born from such a gathering long ago. Clouds of hydrogen collapsed, sparked, burned. Light spread across empty space, carrying warmth to worlds not yet formed. Stars are engines of transformation. They take the simplest things and make them complex. Within their hearts, new elements are forged: carbon for life, oxygen for breath, iron for blood. All the pieces of your body were born in the heart of stars, long before you drew your first breath. Rest in this thought. You are not separate from these ancient fires. Your atoms carry the memory of fusion, of light created from darkness, of clouds gathered and set ablaze by invisible hands. You are part of this ongoing story, written in starlight. Outside your window, the night sky seems calm. Distant pinpricks of light, steady and sure. Yet each star is alive with motion, with burning, with change. Each one is a reminder that from stillness, great energy can rise. From waiting, brilliance can emerge. Tonight, let this be your comfort: nothing small stays small forever. Hydrogen dreams of stars. Clouds gather. Pressure builds. Light finds its way. And so do you. Tomorrow, you will follow this light further, into the hearts of dying stars, where endings become beginnings, and even destruction carries seeds of creation. But for now, rest in the warmth of knowing, even the simplest things hold within them the power to shine. The universe does not hurry. It only waits, and gathers, and burns. Chapter 8, The Stars That Die to Build You. Some stars live quietly, burning slow and long across billions of years. Others burn fast, wild with energy, destined for a more dramatic end. But all stars, in time, must die. This is not tragedy. This is the rhythm of the cosmos, creation woven through with endings, endings folded gently into new beginnings. Tonight, you drift closer to these dying stars. You watch as they swell into red giants, vast and swollen with exhaustion. Their cores shrink as their outer layers balloon outward, cooling into a soft, crimson light. For some, this is how they end, shedding their outer shells into space, leaving behind a tiny ember called a white dwarf. Small, dense, quietly glowing for eons before fading away. Others meet a different fate. Stars much larger than your sun cannot end so gently. When their fuel runs out, they collapse inward under their own weight. Imagine this collapse. A core squeezing tighter and tighter, atoms crushed beyond recognition, until something extraordinary happens. A supernova. An explosion brighter than whole galaxies, scattering elements into the void. Gold, calcium, iron, the building blocks of your bones, your blood, the planet beneath your feet, these are born in such fiery deaths. In that moment of destruction, the universe sows the seeds for future worlds. You might picture this scattering as sorrow, but the universe knows no grief. It simply moves forward, cycling energy into matter, matter into life. Nebulas bloom from these remains, vast, colorful clouds shaped by shockwaves, ready to gather again into new stars, new planets, new possibilities. Your own atoms have traveled this journey. Long before they became part of you, they were forged in these stellar furnaces, flung across space by dying stars, gathered again in the clouds that birthed your sun and earth. You carry within you the silent legacy of supernovas. You are, in every breath and heartbeat, proof that endings are not ends at all. Even black holes, the collapsed hearts of the largest stars, hold lessons in this quiet cycle. Their gravity bends light, curves space, swallows matter. Yet around them, new stars often form, drawn in by the chaos, finding new patterns in the dark. Death feeds life. Collapse feeds creation. Tonight, as you listen, know this truth: you are not separate from these cosmic rhythms. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your cells, all were born in fire, shaped in silence, scattered by forces vast beyond imagining. Yet here they are, gathered again into you. Rest in this knowledge. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is truly lost. Even the stars that die do so with purpose, leaving behind the raw materials for what comes next. Tomorrow, you will follow these scattered elements as they gather once more, not into stars this time, but into something smaller, quieter, more delicate. The planets where life can begin. But for now, let yourself drift on this gentle thought. Endings are not darkness. They are simply the spaces where light waits to return. Chapter 9, How Planets Are Grown from Stardust. Out in the vastness of space, long after a star has died, a soft and patient work begins. The sky looks empty to your eye, but it is not. It is filled with dust, tiny fragments of rock and metal, cooled ashes of ancient stars. Alone, these grains seem too small to matter. Yet together, under the slow pull of gravity, they begin to shape the future. Imagine now floating through such a cloud. Around you, particles drift like lazy snow. Some bump together and stick, bound by faint electric whispers. Others collide and bounce away, only to meet again. This is not a violent chaos but a quiet persistence. Over time, the small becomes less small. Dust clumps into pebbles. Pebbles into stones. Stones into mountains adrift in the dark. These growing bodies spiral through the cloud, sweeping up more and more material. Gravity tugs at them from within, shaping them into spheres, pressing their centers tighter. The heat builds. The shape smooths. A planet is born, though still young and raw. Your own Earth began this way, as dust, as rock, as restless gathering. It took millions of years for these fragments to form a world solid enough to hold oceans, to cradle air, to welcome life. Volcanoes burned across its surface. Comets brought water from far-off places. The sky thickened with clouds. Slowly, what was once only debris became a home. Beneath your feet now, beneath oceans and mountains, that ancient dust still waits in stone. Your body, too, holds its memory, in the calcium of your bones, the iron of your blood, the minerals within your teeth. You carry the story of planetary birth inside you. Planets do not grow alone. Around each new sun, a family of worlds emerges, some large, some small, some destined to burn or freeze. A few find themselves in just the right place, with just the right warmth, with just the right ingredients to foster life. Not too close, not too far. Balanced in a tender orbit where water can flow and air can gather. Earth is one of these rare places. Balanced, breathing, wrapped in the delicate skin of atmosphere. From the dust of ancient stars, from the silence of drifting clouds, it became something more, a place where trees grow, where rivers carve valleys, where creatures swim and crawl and fly. Tonight, let this thought comfort you: the ground beneath you, the sky above you, the very breath you take, all of it came from patience, from gathering, from time's slow hand shaping dust into wonder. Tomorrow, you will drift closer to this wonder, not to the rocks or the water, but to the invisible patterns that guide life itself. The codes written deep inside every cell. But for now, rest in this knowing: your world was built from scattered pieces, gathered by unseen hands, shaped into a home where dreams can safely unfold. The dust still falls, softly, even now. The universe is never finished building. Chapter 10, The Secret Language Inside Every Cell. Beneath skin and muscle, beneath blood and bone, something smaller waits. It is quieter than breath, smaller than sight, and yet it shapes everything about you. In the heart of every cell you carry, there lies a tiny library. Shelves and shelves of instructions, written not with ink, but with chemicals arranged in careful, deliberate order. This is your genetic code, the silent language of life itself. You might imagine these instructions as a thread, long and curled, twisting gently into spirals. We call this thread DNA. It loops inside the nucleus of each cell, coiled in such a way that meters of it can fit inside something too small to see. A miracle of folding, of precision, of quiet containment. And along this thread runs a message, written in 4 simple letters: A, T, C, G, not letters as you know them, but molecules that pair and repeat, that pattern and sequence, that build and rebuild the code that makes you, you. Hair color, height, the shape of your hands, the way your heart beats slightly faster when you laugh, all of these are instructions whispered by these letters, carried forward from your ancestors. Inside this code, there is memory. Not the kind you hold in your mind, but a deeper memory carried through time. Memory of how to build a spine, how to grow lungs, how to heal a wound, how to turn sunlight into energy. These instructions stretch back through generations of life, tracing roots through every creature that has ever walked, swum, or flown across this earth. Your cells read these instructions the way a musician reads a score. Notes become music, letters become life. Each step precise: copy this, fold that, connect here. Proteins are built like bridges, like keys, like scaffolding. They move through you now, unseen but tireless, repairing, replacing, constructing anew with every passing moment. Even now, as you rest, this silent work continues. Cells dividing, codes copying, instructions unfolding in endless loops of creation. Life does not pause simply because you sleep. It hums quietly on, respectful of your need for stillness, faithful in its duty to keep you whole. This code connects you to everything that lives, from the trees that stretch toward light, to the birds that ride the wind, to the fish that turn circles beneath the waves. Different codes, yes, but the same alphabet. The same quiet miracle unfolding in every living thing. Tomorrow, you will follow this thread outward, from the smallest codes inside you to the vast ecosystems they support, to the invisible networks that hold life together in balance. But tonight, rest knowing this. Inside you is a story still being written. A language spoken without sound. A map drawn in molecules, carrying you forward, gently, through time. The code is never silent. It sings softly, even now. Chapter 11, The Microbiome, Your Body's Hidden Garden. Beneath the surface of your skin, beneath the hum of your thoughts, a quieter world moves and lives alongside you. You may think of yourself as one body, one person, one singular being. But in truth, you are also a gathering place, a home, a garden where trillions of tiny lives bloom and fade, unseen. These lives make up your microbiome, a hidden ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, and other microscopic creatures that live on your skin, within your mouth, deep in your lungs, and especially in your gut. They are too small to notice, too quiet to hear. Yet without them, you could not live as you do. They help you digest, protect you from harm, teach your immune system how to recognize friend from foe. They are ancient, clever allies, evolved alongside you since the earliest days of life on Earth. Think of them now as a garden. Not rows of flowers or fruit trees, but clusters of organisms, each with their own purpose, each finding a home in a corner of your body. Some tend the soil of your digestion, breaking down food into nourishment. Others guard the gates of your skin, warding off invaders. Still others shape the chemistry of your brain itself, influencing mood, sleep, even the patterns of your dreams. Your microbiome is a quiet orchestra, tuned by your choices, what you eat, how you move, where you live, how you rest. A bite of yogurt, a walk through a forest, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, these small acts feed your hidden garden, encourage balance, invite harmony. When this balance is kept, you feel well, strong, steady. When it falters, illness can creep in, like weeds growing unchecked. But even when imbalance comes, healing is possible. Your body knows how to listen, how to repair, how to replant what has been disturbed. Life has always been this way, cycles of growth, decay, renewal. Your microbiome is no different. It forgives, it adapts, it returns to balance when given care. Tonight, as you close your eyes, remember this: you are never alone. You are carried not only by your own cells but by these unseen companions, moving with you through each moment of life. They are part of your story, part of your health, part of the quiet miracle that allows you to wake, to breathe, to dream. Tomorrow, you will follow this invisible thread beyond your body, to the wider web of life, to ecosystems and the balance they hold for the planet itself. But for now, rest in this knowing. Inside you is a garden. Tended not by your hands, but by the smallest of lives. Together, you make each other whole. Even in your sleep, they work on, gently, faithfully. Chapter 12, The Breath of Forests, How Trees Keep You Alive. Breathe in. Breathe out. It seems so simple, this soft, automatic rhythm that carries you through every moment. Yet behind each breath, there is a story far larger than your body, a story that stretches across forests and oceans, winds and roots, the sky and the soil beneath your feet. The air you pull into your lungs tonight is not simply empty space. It is woven with oxygen, a gift from green things growing in places you may never see. Trees, grasses, algae floating on waves, they have been breathing on your behalf since long before you were born. They take in sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and with quiet brilliance, turn them into life. This is photosynthesis, the silent miracle by which light becomes breath, by which air becomes something you can hold inside your chest. In return, your own exhalation feeds them. The carbon you release, waste to you, is nourishment to the leaves, the stems, the roots that reach downward in patient search of stability. You and the trees are bound together in this slow, rhythmic exchange, a conversation older than memory, more constant than the wind. Walk through a forest, even in your imagination, and notice how your breathing changes. The air feels thicker, calmer, filled with something you cannot see but can feel. Beneath your feet, roots touch roots, sharing messages, nutrients, warnings through networks of fungi that stretch like threads of thought beneath the soil. The trees are not isolated beings, they are a forest, a community, living and breathing as one. Your body knows this balance, even if your mind forgets. Your heart beats more slowly beneath the green canopy. Your breath deepens, steadies. You are home here, part of this living circuit. Each leaf you pass exhales life toward you, each breath you return feeds the roots. Even far from forests, this exchange continues. Somewhere, trees are drawing in your breath and returning it changed. Somewhere, the sky is filtering sunlight into energy, into oxygen, into the quiet support that keeps your blood moving, your brain dreaming. The earth breathes, and you breathe with it. Inhale. Exhale. A partnership written into the very structure of life. As you sleep, this dance goes on. Oceans churn, forests stretch, leaves unfurl toward dawn. The balance holds. Your lungs rest, but the rhythm does not cease. Tomorrow, you will follow this breath outward again, to the winds that shape continents, the climates that rise and fall, the systems that sustain life far beyond what your eyes can see. But for now, settle into this truth. You are part of something vast. Your breath is not your own alone. The forests hold you as you sleep. And through the night, the trees keep breathing. Chapter 13, Oceans Beneath the Ice, the Secret Seas of Other Worlds. Beneath your feet tonight, oceans shift and sigh. But not all seas belong to Earth. Beyond the warmth of our sun, beyond the pull of familiar gravity, there are other waters waiting, oceans hidden beneath crusts of ice, sealed in darkness for millions, perhaps billions of years. Imagine them now as you lie still, a moon circling a distant planet, its surface cracked and frozen, silent in the blackness of space. Europa, Enceladus, Ganymede, their names like whispers from mythology, but their secrets are grounded in something real. Beneath their icy skins, entire oceans churn. Saltwater, heated not by sunlight, but by the friction of gravitational tides pulling and stretching their rocky cores. These are not oceans like ours, open to the wind and sky. They are wrapped in darkness, locked beneath miles of ice. Yet they move. They stir. They exchange warmth and minerals from the rocky seafloor below. They might even harbor life, life unlike anything on Earth, life that has never seen the light of a sun, life that pulses in the quiet dark, warmed by vents in the deep. Consider how strange and comforting it is, that water, so essential to you, so ordinary here, exists in such alien places. That even where no human foot has stepped, no eye has gazed, water keeps its ancient role as cradle and keeper of possibility. In these buried seas, the story of life might be writing itself anew, molecule by molecule, heartbeat by heartbeat, in ways we can only guess. You are part of this greater story. Your oceans and their hidden cousins beneath the ice share a lineage that stretches back to the birth of stars, to the clouds of gas and dust that formed planets and moons. Water traveled across space, carried on comets, gathered in pools, locked in ice, waiting. Always waiting for the warmth that might awaken it. Tonight, as you float on the quiet sea of your own breath, remember these distant oceans. You share something with them, a longing for light, for connection, for the slow unfolding of possibility. Your world speaks to theirs in silence across the void, a kinship written in hydrogen and oxygen, in tides and depths, in the patience of water waiting to become more. Tomorrow, you will rise and think again of Earth's seas, of the waves you know and the shores you walk. But for now, let your thoughts drift beneath alien ice, through salt water untouched by time. Let yourself wonder what shapes might swim there, what soft rhythms might echo in the black water, what beginnings might stir beneath the frozen crust. Out there, in the darkness, oceans breathe beneath the ice. And here, within you, curiosity keeps moving. Chapter 14, Time Beneath Your Skin, How Your Body Keeps Its Own Clock. You do not hear it ticking. You cannot touch it, cannot see it. But within you, beneath skin and breath and bone, a clock is always keeping time. It is not made of gears or numbers, but of cells and signals, of proteins shifting shape, of light and darkness folded into flesh. This is your circadian rhythm, your body's quiet agreement with the turning of the earth, your alignment with the rise and fall of day and night. Even as you sleep, this hidden clock is guiding you, minute by minute, hour by hour. From the moment you were born, this rhythm began. It whispers to your organs when to wake and when to rest. It signals your brain when to feel alert, when to grow weary. Your hunger follows its lead, your temperature obeys its slow sway. Your hormones ebb and flow on its silent instructions. Beneath your awareness, your body is dancing to time's unseen beat. This rhythm is not yours alone. It connects you to the plants that open leaves at dawn, to the birds who sing as the sky pales, to the ocean tides that follow the moon's pull. All living things are touched by this cycle. Light enters through your eyes, even closed, even dim. It speaks to your brain's center, telling it whether to release melatonin, the chemical of sleep, or to hold it back, keeping you alert. Inside each of your trillions of cells, smaller clocks mirror the larger one. They keep their own gentle schedules, ensuring that proteins are made at the right moment, that energy is stored or spent in harmony with the world beyond your skin. You are a collection of clocks, nested like Russian dolls, each keeping time in concert, each tuned to the world's turning. And yet, your body is not rigid. It can adjust, stretch, bend this rhythm to match changing seasons, shifting habits. Cross time zones, and you feel it. The dissonance of clocks falling out of step, the weariness as your body struggles to find its place again in light and darkness. This is jet lagged, the song of time sung out of tune, slowly tuning itself back to harmony. Even now, lying still in the softness of night, your body is preparing for tomorrow. Repairing cells, storing memories, adjusting systems. The work of sleep is governed by this rhythm, too. It knows the difference between day and night, even when you try to confuse it with screens or restless thoughts. It waits patiently for darkness, for silence, for rest. Your ancestors listened to this rhythm through sun and moon, through the long dark winters and the bright days of summer. Their bodies adapted, just as yours does now. You are shaped by this ancient agreement with time, this contract written in stardust and biology. Tonight, as you breathe slowly, know that you are not drifting aimlessly. You are moving gently through time, guided by something deep and true within you. Your clock keeps ticking, steady and kind, carrying you toward the dawn. And tomorrow, when light touches your closed eyes, your body will know. It will awaken on cue, ready to begin again the quiet dance of time. Chapter 15, The Gravity in Your Bones, How Forces Shape Your Body. You hardly notice it, but it holds you close, always. Gravity, that quiet, patient pull, keeps you anchored to the earth, keeps your feet pressing softly into the ground beneath you. But gravity's work is not only outside of you. It shapes you from within, sculpting your bones, whispering to your body how to grow strong, how to stand tall, how to remain grounded in the world of weight and balance. Beneath your skin, your bones are alive. They are not fixed, not frozen. They listen. They respond. Every step you take, every gentle strain of weight, sends a message through your skeleton. It is a conversation between bone and gravity, silent but constant. Here is force. Here is resistance. Here is where you must grow. Your body understands this language without words. Where pressure touches bone, where muscle pulls against tendon and joint, bone quietly strengthens itself. Cells called osteoblasts gather to reinforce what is needed. Without this dialogue, without the soft persistence of gravity's hand, your bones would fade. Consider the astronauts who leave Earth's pull behind. Floating in orbit, their bodies lose this daily conversation with weight. Their bones, no longer pressed upon, begin to weaken. Their muscles soften, their strength lessens. Even their hearts, accustomed to pumping blood against gravity's tug, must adjust. Space unteaches the body how to hold itself. But you, here, lying still beneath the pull of your own familiar world, you are cradled by gravity's quiet embrace. It gives you shape. It roots you in place. It reminds your bones, even in sleep, of where they belong. Your skeleton is not solid like stone. It is porous, living, a structure of bridges and chambers. It holds marrow within, where blood is born. It carries the imprint of your days, the falls you've taken, the loads you've lifted, the paths you've walked. Your bones record your history, and gravity helps write each chapter. Even now, in the hush of night, gravity reaches through you. It keeps your spine curved to the earth, your ribs wrapped gently around your heart. It anchors your breath, your pulse, your dreams. It keeps your fluids from drifting away, holds your center steady beneath the pull of moon and sun. Without gravity, your sense of up and down would vanish. Your balance would falter. Your inner ear, your muscles, your very bones would lose their quiet certainty of where you stand. Gravity teaches you not only how to walk but how to be, how to belong to a world of weight and sky. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, feel the softness of your body meeting the mattress, the subtle pressure where you touch the earth. This is gravity's lullaby, wrapping you gently in its arms. It does not demand your notice, yet it shapes you all the same. Tomorrow, you will rise and walk again, and your bones will listen as they always do. But for now, let yourself sink softly into the pull that holds you here, steady and whole. Gravity is beneath you, around you, within you, patient, silent, kind. And beyond this force, something even deeper awaits you. A story written in your very atoms, waiting to be heard. Bonus chapter. Close your eyes. Feel the space around you. The space between your fingers, between your breaths. The space beneath your ribs, around your heart, between one thought and the next. It seems like nothing. But tonight, you will understand something softer, deeper, this nothing is everything. Out there. Between the stars you cannot see, between the planets you cannot reach, there stretches a darkness so vast, so quiet, that it feels almost sacred. Space. The emptiness between. But this emptiness is not vacant. It holds. It shapes. It connects. Imagine your body now, resting, breathing. Inside you, atoms hum gently. But they do not touch. They hover near each other, held apart by invisible forces, surrounded by space, more space than substance. If you could shrink yourself to the scale of the atom, you would see that even the densest things, bone, stone, steel, are mostly space. Your body, your world, your universe, all mostly empty. Yet this emptiness is not meaningless. It gives room for movement. It allows light to pass, signals to travel, planets to turn. It is the quiet canvas where all existence is painted. Scientists call it the vacuum, but even in this name there is misunderstanding. A vacuum sounds like absence, like nothing at all. But the vacuum of space is alive in its own way. It ripples with energy you cannot see, particles that flicker into being and vanish again, like tiny breaths between stars. The silence of space is full of potential. It holds gravity, pulling galaxies into slow spirals. It carries light, traveling for millions of years to reach your waiting eyes. It shelters the fragile threads that connect atoms, the bonds that shape molecules, the forces that let stars burn. Without this space, without this silence, there would be no room for things to exist at all. Tonight, let your breath soften into this idea. Space is not an enemy of fullness. It is not a void to fear, but a cradle that carries you. Between stars, between atoms, between every thought you have, space offers room. Room to move, to rest, to change, to become. Even time needs space to stretch out in. Without space, there would be no tomorrow, no yesterday. Only a single, impossible moment, frozen. But space allows time to flow, slowly, gently, like the tide that pulls at your dreams. Close your eyes again, and imagine yourself not as a body resting in a bed, but as something softer, a shape of light and breath, floating in the great stillness between stars. You are not separate from this vastness. You are part of it. The same emptiness between galaxies echoes inside your chest, between the beating of your heart. This space is not cold. Not cruel. It is patient. It waits. It listens. And in its silence, everything you know finds its place. Your atoms rest in space. Your thoughts pass through the quiet between neurons. Your body floats within the soft gravity of Earth, surrounded by air, by sky, by space itself. Even now, as you listen, you are held gently by the unseen hands of space. They press against you from every side, not with weight, but with balance, keeping you here, softly anchored in this moment. Sleep, too, is a kind of space. A quiet between the waking hours, a room where dreams can move, where your mind can stretch without boundary. In this sleep, you travel through your own universe of thought and memory, carried on the same quiet currents that shape the galaxies. Tomorrow will come, and with it, motion, sound, shape. But tonight, rest in the truth that space, empty, silent, vast, is not lonely. It is not lost. It is full of possibility. Full of the energy that makes light, that forms stars, that keeps your heart beating. Without space, there is no song, no sun, no breath, no thought. And so, as you drift, feel yourself relax into this deeper knowing. What feels like emptiness is simply the pause between notes. The breath before words. The canvas before paint. It holds you. It holds everything. And somewhere, far beyond your sight, in the hush of the cosmos, another star is born, quietly, patiently, because there is space for it to burn. As you slip deeper into sleep, let this thought remain. You are never truly alone in the dark. The space between things is not empty. It is simply waiting for what comes next. And softly, like the faintest pulse of light across a distant sky, your next chapter begins to glow.